This is good. This is good. Do you guys like that? Do you like that, Hugo? Say yes.
Hold on.
Say yes. You can't hear it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Hugo and Jake address the nation, chat. Okay. All right. For some reason, this ticker, I don't know if this is working properly. I might turn it off.
Okay.
This is the way to be, okay? Because blue coffee's not up on there at all. And I don't know why. I don't know why this is happening to me. I don't know why.
I don't know if I regret or am proud of that ball gag picture, by the way, but there it is.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. It's not picking up my chat either. Very strange. Very strange. Okay, so that's the end of the... Okay, well that's the end of that. We no longer have to entertain ourselves with Spotify. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Having a good night. Death Hallway. What? What's Death Hallway? What are you talking about, Sarah? What are you talking about?
I had it open and it was making a hallway with your screen.
The Hallway of Doom? Like this?
Don't do it again.
I'm doing it. It's happening. It's happening.
Okay, I'm closing this.
See ya. Glad to see you boys got the stream shit figured out. Apparently not. It's not working. I don't know. Anyway, so that'll eventually turn into a deep, long death hallway. Anyway, I don't know why Streamlabs isn't picking up my YouTube shit. I guess I gotta change that around again? Question mark? Anyway, I'm gonna turn the ticker off because it's annoying me if it's not gonna actually do the thing that I wanted it to do. Okay? I wanted it to do a thing, and it's not doing it. I don't know. I don't know.
Someone
why.
asks, when are we going to be sending out jars of our bath water? Is there an ETA on our gamer girl bath water?
On gamer bath water? I don't know. I like the Death Hallway though. Actually, I really like it. Peter Tingle. Our bath water. Bath water has been happening. Did you see that gamer girl P? They said I am told that was I probably can't go too deep into this. News maybe? Gamer Girl P? Yeah. Apparently, I don't know if it was fake or not, but her her store allegedly had a $10,000 bottle of pee.
Okay, I have several questions in regard to that. A, I don't think the selling of bodily fluids is legal unless you're someone like a company that sells plasma.
Well, that's what I thought, but apparently people sell their urine on the internet for urine cleanses. So people put it up.
Oh, that's fair.
So I don't know if that's legal, but yeah, it's...
I have heard of that because people they do pee enemas, and they drink it also.
Yeah. Boink. Bump, 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 bump. I wish I could sell my bath water. I don't take baths, but I will. If you guys want to if you guys want to buy my bath water, I'll take baths. I don't care. I'll definitely take a bath.
The problem with baths, as opposed to showers, is, unless you have a fairly large bath. If you have like a jacuzzi bathtub, fine, great, I get that. If you have a normal-sized human bathtub, I feel like you just end up sitting in a tub of your own, like nasty water. Yes. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Maybe
I need to try. Maybe I need to try bath bombs. Some sparkly bath bombs. Would that make me feel better? Would that make me feel pretty?
No,
maybe.
I don't think that's what you need. I'm against it. Okay, I'm not for it. I disagree.
Someone's got to pay all the single moms on Facebook for their bath bombs.
For their, is that all single moms do? Is make bath bombs?
Not all of them, but some of them.
Take that, single moms. You've been reduced. Take that. Hugo has reduced you. I'm looking for something to put there. It's driving me nuts that there's something like that empty space isn't working. Bath bombs are fucking amazing, and yes, they make you feel soft. I have never felt soft in my life. I'm always rough and tumble.
We're all rock hard right now, in fact. That's how not soft we are.
Yes. Well, you might be soft. I'm not soft. You look moist from time to time. You look nice and moist. No? You disagree? You're not moist?
I didn't hear the end of your last sentence.
I said you look moist from time to time.
Everyone's moist from time to time, especially me. I'm very obese. I have many crevices for which to get moist, and they oft are.
Okay. See, that's okay. All right, but I think maybe. Okay, guys, what should I put at the bottom here? It's really bugging me. It's really bugging me that I don't have.
What are you trying to do?
I have an idea.
Point?
I know what I'll put down here. I'll put Donald Trump. Donald Trump with his fast food. I'll crop it. It's going to look beautiful, guys. It's going to look fucking beautiful. Okay? The best. It'll look the best. Gorgeous. Oops. I gotta do filters. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta put the president, our president of the United States of America. Okay? And he is our president, right?
Oh God! I hate it. I hate it so much. Jeffrey E. Patron lightning fast on the mod trigger. Good for him.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
I don't understand about the people who just come into chat. Here's my thoughts on people who do that. Why spend the time making sock accounts just to have them all banned one by one? Do you not have better things to do with your time? I don't, which is why I'm here, clearly. But, like, you know.
That's so you make sock accounts.
Is
that what you're saying?
I'm a sock person. You know, and I spend my time as Hugo, and then I go on my merry way. And surprisingly, I do it without the racial slurs.
Surprisingly. Nice. I'm just gonna put tremendous right here.
Okay.
I feel like that works, right? That's decent. I feel like I need like a do we have an outline? Is there an outline? Maybe? No? Is there no outline here? I don't know how to do this. Background color. Okay. Well, that's a background. Outline. Boom. Boom. Outline needs to be in black. Done. Tremendous. There we go. Nailed it. Okay. Now we can actually go on with the show.
Okay, great.
I'm glad that you waited for that. Look at that. That is some graphics. Okay. So anyway, the first thing, and this is related to that, the first thing we wanted to talk about was in fact the Trump administration scrubbing climate change from the press release.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why do we always have to bail out of climate change as a discussion? Who's making money on this? Who's making fucking money on this?
I find it so fucking obnoxious that climate change has become a politicized partisan issue, because it is an issue that affects all of us. And the fact that Republicans have turned it into this partisan hack job of nonsense is endangering the lives of everyone on the planet.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I understand, to an extent, that there are companies who save money and make a profit, whatever, off of this. But certainly, to an extent, they must understand that the longer they continue to do this without taking steps to mitigate the damage, it's going to damage them just as much. Like, they don't have a rocket ship they can jump on and go to another fucking planet if things go awry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They will also suffer as the global community writhes from this terrible, terrible disaster that we're all heading towards at 80 miles per fucking hour. Which is weird too, because Republicans are so against like immigration and refugees, but inevitably the consequence of this foot dragging on climate change is going to cause probably the greatest migration like disaster in human history. It's going to be insane. Ugh.
I think my big, besides obviously it's a huge fucking deal, it just doesn't make sense to deny it. Like, there's not things that I don't like you're going to lose money in the long run if you live for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand that, like, especially like these real estate guys like a Donald Trump, like literally Mar-a-Lago's at danger.
Well, okay, here's the thing about Donald Trump in real estate. Donald Trump
He's
used
bad
to be
at
in the
it.
real estate business. Donald Trump, prior to being the president, the last 10, 20 years, has been in the Donald Trump brand business.
You're right.
He doesn't actually do a lot of property stuff himself. I mean, certainly the Trump organization owns properties, owns hotels, but there are a lot of places in which he's just licensed out his name, for instance, to hotels he doesn't own. And buildings he doesn't own, because the Trump brand, through things like The Apprentice, ended up creating this mythos, this like Elon Muskian type persona of businessman guy that people believed in. So at this point, I don't think he cares. Also, I don't think Trump has that much say in what goes on in his organization day to day anyway, because he's like fucking unhinged from all of it. I don't know.
Just a little unhinged, a tad. How unhinged?
I'm only catching like half of what you say, by the way. You're cutting in and out like you did that last time.
How unhinged do you find Donald Trump to be? On a scale from...
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I can. But I refuse to do so. I
can't hear what you're saying.
don't understand why Hugo can't hear what I'm saying, chat. I don't understand. I think what I'm gonna do for him is it's
like the audio doesn't kick in until halfway through the sentence you're saying.
How's that with my camera turned off? Does that help you?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off. You never get to view my visage again.
Okay, that's fine. As long as I can hear you. Ugh, my hair looks greasy as fuck. I could have dry shampooed.
Were you outside? Did you do yard work?
No, but I was outside a little bit, and it's kind of warm out, and I'm fat. So, you know, the moisture factor increases very quickly.
Using fat as an excuse, that doesn't happen to me.
I think I'm fatter than you because I'm shorter.
Okay.
So my BMI is probably higher.
Okay.
I also have a sweating issue in the first place. It wouldn't surprise me if I have a mild form of that, what's it called? Hydrosis or some shit.
Hyperhidrosis. Isaac Perry, thank you for the $1 due. By the way, we will be answering super chats if in fact you feel so inclined. Thank you for multiple dollars. Yeah, I happen to lag on YouTube every time. I think it's because I have to turn off hardware acceleration for it to pick up your face, which I think is strange. Okay. But you can hear me now just fine, right? So
yeah.
So
Hugo was allowed outside. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't clarify. This is I go outside in my imagination, and it gets me very, very sweaty. So, you know, it's like Inception. You die in a dream, you die in real life. No, that wasn't Inception rules. Inception, that wakes you up. Nightmare on Elm Street rules. The Matrix rules.
Mesu, thanks for the 99 cents. Well, when climate change happens, when you go outside, you won't be able to, you won't have to worry about sweating so much when you're experiencing a hurricane in the middle of Michigan. So that'll be okay because you'll be too wet. It'll clean you off.
I'm gonna look on the bright side of this. See, as we head towards climate disaster, we live close to the largest freshwater bodies on the planet. So as the world descends into Mad Max chaos, perhaps we'll become wealthy property owners as we own property near them relative to the rest of the world. Who knows?
Thank you, Tubi and 323 for the $5. Dumpy Trumpy wanted a wall. Dumpy Trumpy may take a great fall.
We could start little fiefdoms in our backyards with sharecroppers. That'll be fun.
Sharecroppers, but it's just water. It's water people. Caden Pat, probably. Thanks for the $1.99. Impeach or not to impeach? What doth thou say? I don't think you should impeach.
I think he's done enough by the letter of the law and the Constitution to justify it. But politically speaking, if you're talking purely in like pragmatic terms, I think it would end up badly for the left-leaning candidates during the election coming up, because this is going to sound stupid, but understand what I'm trying to say. I hate how political politics is. You know what I mean?
That does sound stupid. Please explain.
Cyrus,
thanks for the $2. Hi.
I hate how optics-based politics is as opposed to fact-based. Sure, that's a better way of putting it. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little bit identity politics and stuff, yeah.
Because despite the fact that I wouldn't even say identity politics. In this case, it's a party politics issue because the Senate is controlled by Republicans. There's no way they're ever going to secure an impeachment in the first place, a conviction on impeachment. So as far as the general public that doesn't pay attention to the news is concerned, even if the evidence was clear as day, and I think it's pretty clear he at the very least obstructed justice.
Right.
If they don't get an impeachment, they're going to say, oh, I guess he was innocent. You know what I mean? So you almost have to pander to people who don't pay attention to the news at all, and it's not good.
I also think just from I think we mentioned this last time. I think from a political stance, I don't think it's good to try to impeach a guy right before he's up for re-election. It's specifically one that's on the right, because they rally and they rally around fucking child molesters when it suits them. So I mean,
yeah,
like it's just about the team sports aspect for them, whereas left-leaning people, sadly, because we have to, we shouldn't do this if we want to win, if we're playing by the rules that the right sets. Sometimes it'll be kind of innocuous stuff, like what was that one guy, the ex-SNL guy from Minnesota who was really good. I can't remember his name, but he got he stepped down because of that when he was a comedian before he was a politician. He took that one picture that was like a little weird.
Al Franken, but the thing is, I'm okay with that because I'm fine with, and we'll get into this a little bit with the Epstein stuff that we're going to talk about later, but the left, for the most part, and of course there are people on both sides who are going to, try and rally for their team regardless.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I see it a lot more on the right than I do on the left, as I think it's pervasive throughout the right, whereas on the left it's more common to actually hold people on the left accountable for their actions.
Oh, I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. It's not good for winning elections. It's just good in general.
Yeah, I wish the right would get some principles and stick by him and stop being so team sporty, because it ends up hurting everyone overall, because the continual lack of accountability for their candidates for the bad things they do ends up leading to a rot from the core, which has been going on, I think, for decades. So
I agree.
Terrible.
Notorious SRG with $2.99. Andy No deserved to get beat down. Did you watch that?
No.
You didn't see it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Seriously?
Nope.
Wow. What? How big is the rock you live under? Like, is it roomy?
There's hot pockets.
Christ. Can you do more on people like JVP, like Crowder or Shapiro? Jake Banks asks. We just did the big thing on Crowder. We're going to do another book review on Shapiro. I think you mean live streams like that. Absolutely, when they make the news. But I think we're going to do this every Monday, because Mondays are usually my off days from everything in general. And if I just do this at night between 8 and 8:30, it still feels like I had a day off. And I think it feels like a day off for you too. Anyway, Andy No was he's a conservative journalist, and he went to was it Portland, the Antifa rally. Actually, it was a Proud Boys rally that Antifa was going to show up to. And while he was there, I can't believe you didn't see anything on this.
Nope.
He got milk shook. But on top of that, so that was fine. But on top of that, there were some punches thrown, and some people used like force that I don't agree with. But at the same time, it seems like it's kind of it's always touchy. Because Isaac Perry, I won't forget about your super chat. I will get to you in a second. Thank you very much. So he goes in and he films and he's saying things that would piss off Antifa members. And it's kind of like poking a beehive and getting stung to me. Except in this case, it's not bees, it's human beings that should know better than to sting. Does that make sense? So,
Sure.
So I don't agree with, and this is the same kind of take I had when Richard Spencer got punched. I don't agree with assaulting these people, but I'm not surprised when it happens because, right? You know what I mean? So
No.
And then he's milking it like he's like, he said he had a brain hemorrhage, which should fucking ruin his life. He said that he was holding a thing of fruit and he fell on the floor and he's like, I don't know if this is due to the brain injury. They've robbed me of my confidence holding my own food. It's like, oh god, and he did a GoFundMe. I don't feel bad for the guy anymore. Like he got like a black eye and some milkshake on him. Milkshake he claimed had cement in it.
I did hear about this bullshit milkshake cementing thing.
There's no proof of that.
No.
But,
no, there isn't. And I find the right's attempt to try and garner sympathy for their bullshit to be incredibly transparent.
I agree. Isaac Perry with $5. Thank you very much. I once sent you an email about coming out to my dad as an atheist. I finally came out and then he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Glad I told him Is that true? You came out, dad forgot due to Alzheimer's. Interesting. I hope it was cathartic at least. Poseidus John. Do you think Epstein will actually go to prison this time? He got away last time. That's going to be our next topic. That is interesting. Did you want to talk about Andy No anymore? It seemed it's interesting. Well, specifically the whole milkshaking thing, right? Like I'm morally fine, although I totally get it if someone gets really pissed off and thinks that they want to litigate against you, because technically you can't do that. I'm morally fine with someone taking a milkshake and throwing the contents of the milkshake, preferably without throwing the cup at somebody. This kind of stuff happens all the time.
Sure.
And does that mean I want it to happen to people? Not necessarily. I don't want it to happen. I just know it probably is going to happen. And so, it's a political food fight is what it is, right?
Of all the statements you could possibly make with physical air quote violence, milkshaking is about the most innocent thing you could do. It's like throwing a cream pie in someone's face. Yeah, it's slapsticky and kind of sucks for the person it happens to. But the person is trying to send a message. I'm not saying it's right. I am saying it is not the same as political violence on the level of smacking people in the face with bike locks. You know what I mean?
I agree. He's also known for doxing people, members of Antifa, and Poseidus John, thank you for bringing that up with your $2 super chat. That is true. He's been known to dox members and that's fucked up too. So I totally get why, and he was even warned if he comes there. People said they're going to defend themselves. I think they took it a little too far. I don't think you should swing at them. But again, bee sting beehive. I mean, just what it is. Mallory Gilmore with $4.99. My brother loves Jordan Peterson, especially his book, and I sent him your vids. He's the target audience for Peterson, but he doesn't listen. Ken Scaletta with $2. Will Trump ever claim to be God? No, I don't think Trump will claim to be God.
No.
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he said stuff akin to, like I could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and no one would arrest me, right? stuff like that.
I think Trump is absolutely a narcissist, and I think he puts himself on a level above everyone else.
I agree.
That's about where I think Trump is.
Yeah, I agree. If I make this font bigger... There we go. I stretched it instead of just making the font bigger. Like a fool. What was I going to bring up? Jordan Peterson in general. We had someone the other day said... like yesterday they tweeted, I was going to spend this $21 on Jordan Peterson's book, but while I was researching the book before purchasing it, I watched your series and they sent the $21 through Patreon to us. So that felt good. I like that. Not just that they spent money on us, which is good, but like also just that like we saved a possible victim of them. Notorious SRG with a very good point that has been brought up many times on the internet, but I guess Hugo hasn't heard about it. Maybe some of you haven't. Thank you for the $1.99. Cement can't set in the presence of sugar. So if it was an actual milkshake, it would have just been liquid milkshake. Now, there are some claims that cement, specifically quick drying cement like that, like Quikrete, is quote caustic to the skin. So I don't know if that's true though. Annalise, thank you for the $1.
I've heard cement is, but sorry.
Sure, but I mean like so if the claim is true, right? If this is cement on this dude's face, right? And he had someone in his backpack and shit, take that in, get it analyzed by the police during the police report, find out what's true, press your charges, and do your thing, and then it becomes true, right? If that's actually proven to be cement, that's fucked up and shouldn't happen, right? So I mean, I don't know why they make claims without fucking just telling people. Also, Tucker Carlson, I can't play it on here, but I did do it on Twitch. Tucker Carlson interviewed Andy No and said that he was, quote, almost beaten to death. He wasn't. You should watch the video. I can't watch it on YouTube's so finicky. We can't watch it on here, but it's not good. It's real dumb.
Dumb.
Hey, there's porn sex links, guys. Porn sex. I never get this on Twitch.
People who spam porn, I know it's bots, but like the people who set them up know people can just find porn from reputable sites, right?
Yes.
Pornhub is easy to get to, especially if you bookmark it.
Yeah. I was reading a comment and I fucking missed it. Yeah, No doesn't have chemical burns, so I don't know. I don't think there was cement in those. I just think he got punched. Anyway.
I don't trust almost anyone on the right when they make comments like that at this point, by the way. I've come across so many bad faith actors and people who argue in bad faith at this point on the right. It's ridiculous. It's scary to see that many people just lie about things to try and further a political point. I don't get it.
Almost beaten to death with a brain hemorrhage, also released from the hospital within 24 hours, says Empillion. Mitchell Line with $2. Harold 2020 with free drugs. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think the idea that they keep trying to say, it's very strange to me. This is very similar to supporting the troops and also having guns so you can beat back tyranny to me. Like the double-edgedness, sure. the contradiction inherent in that. Where someone says that like the left is a bunch of soy boy cucks, and Antifa is the soyest, boyiest, cuckiest of the left.
But they're also dangers to the public.
Yeah, it's like, okay, pick one. Like they can be like, there's plenty of people on the left that can destroy you, and just accept that. Like
I do just want to point out, it's a pretty key facet of fascist ideology that you prop up enemies that are both simultaneously incredibly weak and below you, but also somehow an existential threat to yourself. That's a very common fascist talking point.
Yeah. When's your next
whether
charity
or not they
event?
realize it?
When's your next charity event? I have a decent job now, so I can donate. Literally, like in a week and a half, I'm going to do a 24-hour stream on Twitch. I assume Hugo will show up as well at some point, although you're not on the hook for nearly 24 hours. That's a me thing. But yeah, I'm gonna have some people around. We'll do a 24-hour stream. We're gonna do it. I was gonna do it for the Trevor Project, but apparently they need like 2 weeks to vet somebody, and it pushed back. And then we got sick after Pride, and so it pushed back all my plans because I was obviously going to do it during Pride Month, but I got very sick. Couldn't really I don't know if you've noticed, all of our content dipped dramatically for like 3 weeks. It was pretty rough, but we're coming back. We're gonna be doing live streams every Monday. We're gonna be doing 2 videos a week still, and I wouldn't hate doing one big project a month. That is like, and we're gonna do the Ben Shapiro stuff, but almost like a video essay style video would be kind of cool to try out. Because often we're very conversational, but there are some high concept things that I think we could dig our teeth into. That could be pretty fun. What else were we talking about? What were we saying? I feel like you were saying something.
I don't remember.
Twitch is not a reliable streamer. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna have to grab Tums in a second. My acid reflux is acting up.
Why don't you just get some what's that stuff called?
Zantac.
That's it. Why don't you get that?
I have some, but Tums are immediate. They plop into your stomach, and it's like relief.
Yeah, but Zantac just protects you from it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You caught the gay? We did. I guess we did catch a little bit of the gay at Pride. Yeah, we got con flu basically. It was pretty rough. I slept for 20 hours one of the days.
Yeah. I still am a little bit congested. I'm mostly over it, but up until literally this past weekend, I was still blowing my nose and stuff and getting stuff.
You and Sarah both got sick way before me, and I thought yeah, but I just got your super bugs instead. I got the strongest of the strong, and it hit me really hard for 3 days, and then I was just semi-miserable for the rest of the time. But not it fucked up my voice. It was pretty awful. Those who call others fascists are themselves fascists. That's not how words work.
Those goddamn allied powers and those fascists for calling the Nazis fascists.
Well, I know, but fascism is exactly one thing, right? So
yeah. That's literally just I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
Okay.
Haha.
It's like saying anyone who calls someone a Nazi is a Nazi. And it's that's not
a vacuous statement.
How words work.
Words have definitions that you can then apply to things based on how they conform to those definitions. Whatever.
People call the Antifa fascists, and I'm like, but they aren't right wing. But it's not even about being right wing, right? It's about. I mean, it's functionally you're right wing, but you don't have to be it's about specific things that you do that create a fascist situation. Like eliminating free speech and othering other people and
very specific rules for specific people in society.
Right, and the way
conformity.
Right, conformity and the way it's often militaristic, and it often
high prison rates.
Yeah. Oh wow, we have a lot of those things going on, don't we? Jeffrey Petrone with $5. Super chat is better than super bug. Epstein can burn in hell. By the way, let's talk about Epstein because I think it's very interesting. RGQ in chat is all over this stuff.
Nice.
I don't know who Epstein's going to flip on, but this is Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire friend of President Trump and Clinton, arrested for sex trafficking. Basically, this guy, I think it was back in the 90s he got, or maybe early 2000s, this got brought up.
He got a sweetheart deal. He served 13 months or something like that.
Yeah. So basically, he would take influential men out on a plane to an island where underage girls were, and have fucking sex parties, which is obviously fucked up. So yeah, it's not a good look for Bill Clinton or Donald Trump or anyone else that is that hung out with this guy. So yeah, I don't know. In 2002, Donald Trump said he's known him for 15 years. But also, I think this is just interesting. Whether or not it affects Donald Trump is kind of irrelevant to me. It's just another one of those. It's just add it to the fucking pile, you know?
I find this particular incident interesting because you go to places like Twitter. Yeah. And I've seen a couple more right-leaning tweet people, that's a weird way of saying people tweeting, saying things like, oh, all you people on the left, what are you going to do if Epstein implicated fucking Bill Clinton? I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled that anyone who was fucking an underage person gets caught. Again, this has to do with the left versus the right and holding people accountable, I think. Mm-hmm. I think they think that because they're very tribalist and that they stand by people regardless of their actual actions, like Donald Trump, like the one pedophile guy who was up for election in the South in 2016, whatever is Roy Moore. Because they're like that, they assume people on the left are like that, and I find more often than not that isn't the case. So I don't care who Epstein ends up rolling on. I hope he rolls on everyone he can possibly remember, and they all get fucking caught.
Yeah.
Like, period. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Hey, Anthony Fantano's in chat. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Horizontal with 50 Danish krones. A Danish big YouTuber put her suicide letter on Instagram. Danish officials now want to fine and even incarcerate people who post such. Thoughts? Live and go to jail. That's fucked up. Like
that's insane.
Yeah, you should be trying to help people.
Similar to like the drug war, that's a punitive measure that is actively going against helping the person they're intending to ostensibly help.
Right.
Like if someone is posting their suicide note to social media for any reason, whether it is a cry for help or they're actually intending to follow through, clearly that person is in need of some sort of psychiatric help or whatever, support. Mm-hmm. And further penalizing that person for trying to get that out there one way or another, whether it be, again, either a cry for help or actually trying to commit suicide. Like, punitive action is doing the opposite of helping this person. Dumb. What a waste.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Bob Carmody, for the $1 due. Very interested to see what the Q people do if Epstein blows the whistle on Trump first. QAnon people, they're going to lose their minds. If anyone that goes against Trump is obviously part of the deep state cabal to take down Trump, right? It can't ever be like that Trump did bad.
Anyone who's still following QAnon is going to make up whatever. They're the most conspiracy of conspiracy theorists. They're going to wiggle around their minds some way of trying to justify how it's some sort of deep state conspiracy to try and take down Trump.
Yeah. Related, Caligula salad with $2. I wonder what the Pizzagate folks think about this. Probably the same thing. They think it's a big fucking conspiracy. I don't understand how you can get in a mindset about somebody, and no matter what happens, if it's a bad thing, if it's something that you would perceive as a bad thing, like if Donald Trump, if it turns out Donald Trump, by the way, from this Epstein thing, that in 2016, that case that was brought against Donald Trump for sexual assault was one of the people that claimed to be a girl at one of these islands. Or at this island at one of these Epstein parties. And sure. It was pretty graphic, so I'm not going to share it. So I don't want to bother anybody. But she dropped it because she was getting threats. And so, it it seems to be corroborated by a lot of these other people that have come forward in this Epstein case. Like, the stories are pretty much exactly the same. It's very interesting. Free Greg Narton, free super chat that YouTube takes 30% from anyway. Yeah, it's okay though.
I find it interesting that the real life sex trafficking things kind of further go to show how ridiculous Pizzagate was.
Yeah.
The idea that multimillionaires and billionaires, if they wanted to like have illicit relations with underage people, would go to the dirty basement of a pizza place as opposed to, you know, an island or a penthouse somewhere where this is specifically a thing that happens. And in the world, I'm sure there are multiple places where this happens, unfortunately, because people are disgusting and we all deserve to be wiped off the face of the planet. So, you know, whatever.
Whoa, why are people ripping out the triple parentheses? It's a meme. Although Army of Gog, I don't know that person, so maybe they actually are doing the Jewish thing. John Caraspodi with $2. Deep State Werepire confirmed. Do you know where the Werepire thing comes from?
No.
So on my Twitch channel,
it's like a werewolf vampire.
Yeah, on my Twitch channel, we watch a channel clandEdge of Wonder, and they believe they're QN on every conspiracy theory. They believe it. Moon
landing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of it.
That's my bar usually.
Moon landing's your bar.
Flat Earth?
Hollow Earth. They believe that people live in the fucking Earth, in the crust, and they're time-traveling aliens that are prepared to fight a fourth-dimensional battle in our... Like,
why do they have...
Yeah, this is all...
Why time-traveling aliens? That's a bit of a hat on a hat. They either have them be time travelers or aliens. They don't need to be both.
I know. But anyway, there's werepires. There's
okay.
werewolf vampires. They're all up in there. Peacegate people have co-opted the Epstein case as further evidence for their stupidity. I mean, I just don't understand. So now they're like, so this is because Bill Clinton is friends with Epstein, or was friends, I don't know. That's bad. And then, of course, it was Acosta that cut a deal for him, and now Acosta's got a bunch of shit going on. This is a shit show, and it's going to be very interesting. Again, I think the multi-part docu-series on Netflix in about either 2021 or 2025, depending on when the presidency ends for this guy, is going to be very interesting and damning. I like it's. There's just so much. He's so corrupt. It's so much more than like you think it's gonna be. It just keeps happening, and whether or not this is related, it's just it's another thing to kind of add to it, where there are seemingly credible accounts of him at these parties doing things. There was an actual lawsuit. It got dropped due to threats. In her claim, she's getting threatened, right? Like in the claim of the assault, it's like, you can't tell anybody. I'm so rich I can have people kill your family. Like, I mean, it gets fucking bad. So
this is another reason I'm against people being so like having the ability to become so rich as like being a billionaire. By the way. Because you do reach a certain point where you basically are above all consequences if you have enough money, and that's a society cannot stand if there are people within that society that aren't under the rule of law, at least effectively. Yeah.
It's I don't know how to describe it in any other way than it's just so much more than I expected. Like,
yeah.
And at the same time, the world's not actually on fire. They're just sort of legislating to make sure it happens later. Do you hate rich people? Oh my god.
No, I love rich people, which is why I think that they need to be separated from their addiction to the continual acquirance of wealth. I love them. I hate the fact that they are addicted to acquiring more and more money.
Oh, Poseidus John. Hugo wants humanity wiped off the face of the earth. Hugo went full Poseidus. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I have no idea if I'm saying
I don't
that
actually feel... By the way, I don't actually feel that way. I don't actually want humanity wiped out. I was being hyperbolic. But I am often looking at the news relatively, especially when it's something about, like, these huge child trafficking rings. It makes me genuinely wonder, like... I don't know. The darkness within the human soul, for lack of a better word, is fucked.
It's a branch of Trotskyism.
It's basically the idea that people should not have kids and we should go extinct, I think.
Oh, is that it?
Voluntarily.
Voluntary extinction? I mean... Seems strange. Frantic32, $2. Do you love black people?
No.
Amazing.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're effectively a subgroup of hoarders. That's pretty much how I feel about it. At a certain point, the economy becomes a zero-sum game when you're talking about in the billions of dollars, and if you hoard that much wealth, you're effectively keeping it out of the hands of other people. And as we live in a society where money is sort of speech, unfortunately, and money gets things done, they're hoarding control over society with that money.
C-Man937 with $2 dues between two super chats. Rowan Yates, thank you very much for the $5 Canadian. What do you think about women's soccer teams saying that they would turn down an invitation to the White House? That was Megan Rapinoe specifically, right?
I mean, that makes sense. They can go down the street from their house to get McDonald's. Why would you go to the White House for it?
Megan Rapinoe said, I thought we talked about this yesterday when we were hanging out, right?
Yeah.
She was asked like a couple weeks ago, if you guys win the World Cup, which they did. I don't really care about soccer, but I'm glad that the women's soccer team won. She said, or she was asked, are you going to go to the White House? Megan Rapinoe, by the way, is openly gay and is pretty outspoken about like everything. And she said, I'm not going to go to the fucking White House on camera, and that was pretty dope. So, Caligula Sal at $5. The fact that people continue to support Trump to this day with all the garbage that's come out is astounding. By the way, I missed bits. Super chats are expensive. Sorry, buddy. And then Truett Doty with $2 between two super chats. Thank you very much. I don't really understand supporting someone like that. I think it comes easier to someone on the right because they tend to be it's more likely they're religious. And they have this populism that really appeals to tribalist nature. So I mean, I think it's just really easy,
sure, to
just be like, that's my fucking guy, and to run through loopholes to defend the thing. I don't know. I don't see a difference between this and like Jordan Peterson fans or Jesus fans or Ben Shapiro fans, like they all kind of do the same exact thing. Atheist Jewish Messiah with $5. The Hallow Earth, I assume hollow, is where us Jews hoard our wealth from the Goyim. The only entrance is through the Temple Mount. Was all of that super racist? I don't know. What is that?
Yeah, it's a joke about the conspiracies. Goyim is like non-Jewish folk.
Oh,
by the way, you said that like you didn't know.
I didn't know. I'm not Jewish. I don't do a lot of Yiddish. So, you don't think there are people on the left who are just the same? Oh, absolutely, but it's not as rampant. It's not as rampant, and you see this again with examples of like if Bernie Sanders, there was a credible sexual assault thing against Bernie Sanders tomorrow, right? A lot of people would jump ship because of their morality-based judgment on that, even if he had won the nomination and was ahead in the polls against Donald Trump, right?
Sure.
Right? So, like, this is the difference. Like, if that happens to Donald Trump, you don't see a lot of people on the right jumping ship. They're like, well, fuck that. I'm still going to vote for the guy. Like, and that's the difference. And so there are some, for sure. Like, I think there's some people that no matter what, Bernie Sanders could like snap babies in half on stage, and there would still be Bernie supporters, right? I mean, this happens all the time, but it would literally be a tiny amount versus someone on the right doing it.
Sure.
Liberals have morals. I think both sides have morals. I just think that liberals tend to, not even liberals, just left-leaning people tend to think about that more often because of the way that we vote, right? So left-leaning people tend to be, more educated, and that's not to say that right-wing people are all stupid, because they're obviously not all stupid. And we like to talk about policy a lot, whereas someone like Donald Trump rarely brings up policy, and is just like shooting from the hip all the time, and says it like it is, and that's kind of like the thing on the right? It's populism.
Says it like it is, aka dog like whistling and saying dumb shit.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's the same shit. I'm just saying, like, whereas when Hillary Clinton brings up "fuck Trump," we all groaned. We're like, "Oh my god, I don't care." But when Donald Trump says "fuck Hillary," everyone on the right goes, "Wow, wow!" You know what I mean? Like, we've watched these in the debates. We watched this happen. So, when we were doing the streams on the debates, we were like, "Oh, this person's just talking about they're not Trump. We don't care anymore. Like, talk to me about your policy." This is a zoomed in, focused view of how a lot of people on the left think. Like, we're here about answers to problems. If you give us good answers to those problems, we'll vote for you, and Trump won't win. Like, and that's how we look at it. So it's just strange. The left likes to infight a lot because we don't get very tribal, which is why we lose elections. Rowan Yates with Canadian $2. Have you ever tried to snap a baby? Far too springy. You not with that mindset. Mark Fitzsimmons with $1. Thank you very much. The left sees problems in the system and have 100 different ideas to try to fix it. The right doesn't see problems in the system, and any problems are caused because of the system. Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's not because of the system, because of the left within the system. And you sent another $1 due. Thank you very much. His whole re-election campaign will be against the immigrants. It's going to be that, and they keep trying to go to war, so we'll see what happens.
The thing is, I feel like we're in a very different place today in 2019 and where we will be in 2020 than we were in the early 2000s as far as war is concerned. I'd like to think, at least. I'd like to think. Corporate media is still pretty revving the fucking war hawk messages and like, because it's good for ratings or whatever. Yeah. But I'd like to think the public is more aware of the negative aspects of foreign intervention, especially unwarranted foreign intervention like the U.S. tends to do. And I'd like to think, although my hopefulness has failed me before in terms of Trump and their followers, I'd like to think it would not help Trump to get into a war with Iran. But I don't know. He's stupid enough to do it anyway.
Tons of right-wingers I know are in desperate situations in life. This is from Chris Banks. And desperate people don't tend to seek out complex answers. And I agree. I tend to agree. I mean, it's not like there's no one on the left that's not desperate. It's not like the left is affluent. I think pretty much across the board you could look at it and determine that it's probably pretty even as far as the income levels of the two parties. Although at the very tippy top, you probably have more billionaires on the right wing than you do on the left, just because the left tends to want to tax them more. So it's it's a situation where they're sold. I'm going to sound like a goddamn dirty commie again. Every single time I have to, because of how propaganda-y we are about our capitalist system, which has some good things that I like, that I think most economists agree with. But because of the way we say, and this is the same reason we have immigration problems too, because we sell them the American dream and like, oh, come here and everything can be fixed with our capitalism and our, every poor person is just a not yet a billionaire is pretty much the case, right? So, or at least not a millionaire, right? Every poor person is just, someday they're going to be a millionaire. They're going to make it. You know what I mean? And it's like
that's such a stupid line of thinking, because that's literally a society couldn't function if everyone did incredibly successfully well all at once. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, of course not. Embrace it, comrade. I will not. Because I'm not a full comrade.
I'm pretty close.
I'm pretty
close there.
I'm pretty close, but I'm not in a pragmatic sense. Does that make sense? Like within 10 years we can't be communist. I don't think but I think eventually the human race will have to be to survive. Right?
Yeah.
Or a version of it. Like, I don't know, like the idea I like post-labor communism is what we're talking about. Like, I don't think you can have communism with labor. Just based on the way people act, for it to work in a long period of time. It could, but I just doubt it because people suck. Brett with $2, welcome, comrade. How dare you?
Oh my god. Hold on. Why do you not want war with Iran? They're partially responsible for 9/11. Go fuck yourself.
Wait, I don't want war with fucking Afghanistan or Iraq. Why would I want war with Iran? Afghanistan's mostly responsible for 9/11.
Fucking
why
ridiculous. Yeah, keep bringing up 9/11 like it's relevant this many years later to people.
Imagine being upset about 9/11 still.
Jesus
Christ. They can vote. People born on 9/11 2001 can vote. Posadist John or Posadist, I don't know. Postadist? $5 dude. Sorry, Hugo, that's not it. Read the wiki on the Fourth International or keep reading about I don't know what the fuck it is, but it doesn't matter. This is how I feel. I want to transition to like a market socialist state and work slowly to full economy. I don't think it. See, specifically labor. The way we talk about labor is really toxic, in my opinion, on how we should be talking about labor. Labor is not something we should strive to get to, right? Like consider this. Watch some media, right? Watch a favorite show. Watch Stranger Things, or watch I don't know. I'm rewatching Dexter. Watch Breaking Bad, right? Watch how many times in drama shows specifically there are moments when the big threat to somebody is losing their job. Like, it's so incredibly bad that like literally you can kill someone by refusing them to use their labor to get money. Like, it's really fucked up. And so that's why I'm for like a minimum level of living, because some people can't work. I mean, there's lots of disabled people.
I agree, and there's a disproportionate amount of power vested in those who own capital, and therefore we need to change the system in some way, because essentially you have a two-class system in which there's some people who buy people's labor in return for profit, and people who sell their time as labor because they have to survive.
Right, and I think that's a fucked up situation. I do think, though, that opting into selling your labor so that you can afford... So instead of just having like a basic set of living, you sell your labor to get extra stuff. So you sell your labor to get what we would consider non-essentials. What I like to use the word is luxuries, but not all things are luxuries, right? So like a board game isn't necessarily a luxury, right? But it's not something you need to live, but it's something that with your labor you can choose to buy, or a PlayStation, or a Diet Dr. Pepper. You don't need this to exist, but it's nice to exist in a space where you can do that. That's where I want to get, is where labor is an opt-in to improve your life, not a thing you need to survive, because there's lots of people that can't survive even with this labor. So we have to address it, and we're not really talking about it, and so it makes living at the bottom of a capitalist structure is pretty shitty. There's definitely a talk about labor being not an important focus in the future. Didn't someone once try to sell you on the idea of labor tickets that literally was capital by yes. Someone tried to sell me like, oh, if you do some labor, then you get tickets and you can buy stuff with that stuff. Usually the way someone describes that,
company script,
which is very stupid, is company script. Like, literally, not script though, script.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, apology not accepted. Show ruined. Like, so if you go to work at the toilet paper factory, maybe you'll get free toilet paper. It's like, that's so fucking dumb. Like, that's not how things work. It's not. No one needs a surplus of toilet paper. Like, you need just about you need as much as you need to like wipe your ass and maybe blow your nose on. Like, you know what I mean? shares in the actual products isn't what we need. We need a version of capital to buy things outside of the industry that we work in. It seems very silly. Labor tickets. It's just not only is it money, it's shitty money. Yeah. So it was really, really bad. Jake is probably a socialist and doesn't realize it. Not enough for the socialists to agree with me on different aspects once we dig into it, so they won't have me. I
do find sometimes you conflate market forces with capitalism, but
well, I know
I agree. You're not a socialist.
I would probably agree with you. But yeah, it's just money with extra steps. Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm not of the opinion that profit is theft, for instance. Nor do I think that every single business needs to be owned by all the workers that work at it. I use this example a lot because I think it's easy to illustrate. The bakery down the road, the patisserie over there. There's one lady that owns that. I don't think it's immoral for her to own that and employ people as long as, ethically speaking, they're taken care of. I don't think they need to have ownership in equal proportion in the business. Does that make sense?
Sure,
And
I understand.
Nor do I think it's ethical for them to ask for that.
I think at a certain point, once your business grows above a certain amount, essentially it becomes an integral part of society and how it functions as a whole, and therefore, it kind of doesn't make sense that one person gains a disproportionate amount of the benefits from that social function, whether it be baking bread or doing someone's taxes or whatever. It doesn't make sense that one person at the top of the pyramid is making all the money when all the people at the bottom are barely getting by. It doesn't make sense. It's a pyramid scheme.
What I'm for is just taxing to a certain level to where it would effectively be a cap, which I think is fine. I don't think anyone needs over $100 million, like one person's wealth. It could probably be less, but I'm willing to start at 100 million to see where it goes, Svel Drenger, $2. Have you watched Philosophy Tube? If not, you should. Yeah, we like Ollie. Do you like Ollie? You watch Philosophy Tube?
Me? I've seen him before.
Okay, yeah. Mike Mick with $2. I'm only voting for Bernie to stop the wars. Is that bad? No, I don't.
No, that's a good reason.
Why can't the people at the top keep their wealth? Because it doesn't work.
We've been talking about that because it hurts people at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a hoarding issue. At a certain point, you have more money than anybody could ever spend in a lifetime. You're effectively taking food out of the mouths of the people you employ.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's unethical.
I don't know.
It's not good for society. It's unsustainable.
Yeah.
There are a multitude of reasons.
Yeah. We could do a call-in show every once in a while if you'd want. We could also do a call-in show at the end of this if we really wanted. We could just engage with the Discord. That's fine. If you're a white nationalist, you're getting kicked out, though. We're not going to entertain that anymore. I don't want to have that debate again.
Did they not earn their wealth?
No.
No one in the history of the human race has ever done enough to earn $1 billion. That is my moral perspective. Nobody could in
polio
their
vaccine
lifetime. Guy. Here's the thing: I still don't think so.
I agree with you. I was just tossing the best possible.
I think things can have a social utility and benefit without it necessarily equating to a monetary figure. Yeah. No one in the history of the human race ever has done enough to justify having that much money.
But I don't even care about that. Those arguments, even if they did, right? Even if someone did actually justifiably earn $1 billion, it's about what is utilitarian, about what actually works, and trickle down ain't it, Chief. What works is emboldening people at the bottom who spend money on the products the billionaires spend money to create to make anyway. If you have a consumer base that has more money, you make more money, and that's it funnels back in, not in the way, because poor people don't hoard wealth because they don't have any to hoard. And when you give them money, what they have is a house in disrepair, medical bills to pay for, which we should get rid of. They have luxuries they haven't had the opportunity to experience. They have vacations they can finally afford to go on. poor people live in a different way, and if you've never been poor, and I think most of you have been poor, being poor is a very specific circumstance in which every single day could be fucking could be your last financially stable day, if you want to call poor being financially. You know what I mean? Like if you accidentally like forget to watch the gas meter and you spend $30 instead of $20, it could fuck you up for a week.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind of shit that we're talking about here. If you just cycle that back in through tax breaks, through kickbacks, through whatever, this shit obviously works, and it's not hard to see that every time poor people get money, they spend it on consumer goods, which makes the top tier move back up. So if the bottom is raised, the top is going to naturally raise with it until we reach a rough equilibrium. So if you tax enough on the top to have the bottom not have to weigh that burden, then they can have, you can be healthier, you can be more educated. Yeah. All of this helps society at large, and it helps you personally, even if you're a billionaire. Even if you're a billionaire and you're now, instead of a billionaire, you're half a billionaire, you still have $500 million. Like, it's
do you want to force them to give their money away? In the same way I want to force a heroin addict to not take heroin anymore. Yes. I believe that higher top marginal tax rates are healthier for the people who would be under them and for society. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Poseidus John with $5. Workers owning the means of production is democratizing the workplace. All of the money owned by the capitalist comes from the exploitation of the worker. I mean, I don't think that's the case every single time, but I definitely get what you're saying.
I think on a smaller scale, capitalism can make sense, but on the scales we're working at today, where you have these multinational conglomerates, no, it doesn't make sense that the work of all these people is going and funneling up to the 10 people at the top of the company.
Exactly. Brian Stevens with $2. I had to eat popcorn and ramen for a month once. I had to eat a joke gift of single serving Spam and a potato once. I shared that. That was literally all the food I had. I worked at a restaurant, and that's all the food we had. So, Vaporwave Joe with $1. Thank you very much. Edgy guy on YouTube. Thanks for the $2.
Hold on. Vincent something. The sobering fact is that each person will achieve a level of success they seek based on their efforts, aptitudes, skills, and gifts. Do you really believe that? If so, why aren't you a millionaire?
Ooh, do you want America to be like the USSR then? So economically speaking, the USSR didn't do terrible. The problem was
the totalitarian fucking state.
You're right. The totalitarian nature of it, where they suppressed information, they suppressed free speech, I mean literally they didn't have the kind of open culture that we have, which led to a lot of things, including fucking Chernobyl. That was the big thing about it. They had all the resources, economically speaking, to have this nuclear power plant, to take care of it, to make sure that it got all it needed. But instead, they found out it was shitty, and they didn't want to look weak, and so they cut corners and didn't make it public, even though people knew about that. So I mean, that is so fucking.
Yeah. Anyone who thinks America is a meritocracy, by the way, is not paying attention. That's absurd. It's absurd.
Wait, it makes me go.
People who say America is a meritocracy.
I mean, just literally Kim Kardashian.
Fucking Donald Trump. Do you think he's a smart enough person to have gained that wealth without his father's money? No. We have an oligarchy, basically. A hereditary oligarchy because of a relatively low inheritance tax and stuff like that.
So you're sympathetic to socialism then? What would lead you to believe such a crazy thing? We're a little sympathetic towards socialism?
Yes.
Oh my God. Are you shocked? Have you been listening? Jake is a tanky confirmed. No, tanky is violent revolutionary. I'm not for that. My Snap was cut back to $15 for this month. That's fucking stupid. This is the problem. I hate that. She got fucked and she's famous. She did. And it wasn't even by a real celebrity. It was Ray J. Impressive dick. I mean, to be fair, her dad was also the lawyer for OJ. He ended up dying. It was, Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were going to talk about a measles outbreak. You want to talk about measles, or
Yeah.
you want to keep talking about you want to talk about how the bourgeoisie?
No, we can talk about measles. That's fine. I'm done talking about economic systems.
Are you a little sympathetic to economic systems based on providing for the needs of the people? Yes. Yes, I do. What the measles epidemic really says about America. So measles are back again. Why do we have measles, Hugo?
I need a boost. I definitely need a booster shot, because holy shit.
Too much measles.
I'm concerned about this kind of thing. I really am. Public health crises.
I mean, I'm inoculated against measles.
This century, I guess you could say this in any century that humans are involved in, is going to be a fucking nightmare. Oh, God. The health crises, the immigration crises that are going to be caused by climate change, the effects of climate change more directly, the economic impact of increasingly disparate bottom and top economic classes.
Giggity.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah. This is, again, another reason that we should have universal health care, right? Is that everyone can get fucking checked up on. We have a healthier... I don't understand how if you are a free market capitalist, and like a staunch capitalist, like the dum-dum in chat right now. Dum-dum in chat.
You'd think you'd want a healthy workforce, right?
Right. Because capital is the focus of capitalism, gaining more capital. The best way to gain more capital is to have as many workers possible, as efficient as they can be, using their labor to create products so that you can sell those products to create more capital. If in fact you have a sick workforce, which happens constantly, or an injured workforce or whatever, and they can't come back to work, then your system is fucked. You don't get to include... This goes to education as well. If you have an undereducated workforce and you have these big fucking machines because you want automation, because of course automation helps you cut labor costs, you don't have enough people that are qualified to run these machines because they can't afford to go to school to learn this thing, or they can't learn networking, or they can't learn other ways to make you more efficient. You know, they can't learn programming to run to run simulations to make sure that your logistics are absolutely tip-top perfect in every way. So, I mean, like, you need these types of people to be both educated as much as possible, because it helps your efficiency, which increases capital, and to be healthy, which helps efficiency, which increases capital. I mean, there's really no argument against this if you're like, I'm a capitalist, other than I'm too immediately greedy to invest in health to make sure that I can gain more capital later. Like you're a bad capitalist, in my opinion, if you don't understand the obvious investment in the workforce, in the labor force.
Well, part of it's because modern capitalism has become... Here's the thing. Capitalism, much like any economic system in a vacuum and on paper, makes sense as long as you keep in mind at the end of the day it's just a way of organizing labor and organizing what we are doing as a species. The end goal of which should be, ideally, to improve the lives of everyone involved in the system. However, in actuality, what ends up happening is people end up, instead of looking at the end goal, for instance, like, instead of their end goal being, I own this company, it's my job to make sure I balance profit and making sure I make the best product in whatever field it happens to be. Let's say you make tires. I'm going to make the best tires that are the safest while maximizing profit. Instead, it gets down to, okay, this quarter we need to make a profit because the shareholders are going to be mad at me, the CEO, who's only been here for 2 years, and I'm probably going to leave with a sweetheart golden parachute deal, you know. As long as I get this quarter's numbers up, I'm good. It's this entire class at the very top that their entire goal is not make the best product or make sure that your labor force is healthy and happy. It's just... It's a high score game. How much money can I make? Period. Capitalism isn't immoral, but it is amoral in the sense that it only cares about the bottom line. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the human cost. Even if long term improving the healthcare and the well-being of your employees would be better. They don't care. They're looking at the next quarter. It's a huge problem.
This is an interesting article that I just kind of want to read because I think it's interesting. So why are measles happening? The straightforward explanation for measles' return is that fewer Americans are receiving vaccines. Since the turn of the century, the share of American children under the age of 2 who go unvaccinated has quadrupled. But why are a growing number of American parents refusing vaccines? In the process, welcoming back a disease that decades ago killed hundreds of people a year and hospitalized close to 50,000. One answer is that contemporary America suffers from a dangerous lack of historical memory. Most of the parents who are today skipping or delaying their children's combined measles, mumps, and rubella and MMR vaccine don't remember life with measles, much less that it used to kill more children than drowning does. Nor do they recall how other diseases stamped up by vaccines, most prominently smallpox and polio, took lives in disfigured bodies. Our amnesia about vaccines is part of broader forgetting. Prior generations of Americans understood the dangers of zero-sum economic nationalism. Capitalist guy. For instance, because its results remained visible in their lifetimes, when Al Gore debated Ross Perot about NAFTA in 1993, he reminded the Texan businessman of the 1930s Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, which raised tariffs on 20,000 foreign products, prompting other countries to retaliate, deepening the Great Depression, and helping to elect Adolf Hitler. But fewer and fewer people remember the last global trade war. By the way, your president's trying to start a trade war. Similarly, as memories of Nazism fade across Europe and the United States, anti-Semitism is rising. Technology may improve, science may advance, but the fading of lessons that once seemed obvious should give pause to those who believe history naturally bends toward progress. Because we undereducate our populace! Because
I find this especially interesting when you talk to ethno-nationalists, or you listen to people debate ethno-nationalists. They're literally just using Nazi talking points. And like, guys, you tried this 100 years ago, didn't work out. No.
Rip. Declining vaccination rates not only reflect a great forgetting, they also reveal a population that suffers from overconfidence in its own amateur knowledge. In her book Calling the Shots, Why Parents Reject Vaccines, the University of Colorado, this is Dunning-Kruger as fuck, Denver's Jennifer Reich noted, nice, her last name is Reich, and we're talking about Nazis. Starting in the 1970s, alternative health movements, quote, reposition expertise as residing within the individual. This ethos has grown dramatically in the internet age, so much so that, quote, in areas of diverse as medicine, mental health, law, education, business, and food, self-help or do-it-yourself movements encourage individuals to reject expert advice or follow it selectively. By the way, this is a byproduct of not having free access to these things. This is a byproduct of having to DIY at home to protect yourself from a possible fucking medical bill, right? This is the same reason people do Jilly Juice shit. And they'd rather give her $20 than give a hospital $5,000 deductible to go to the to fight their chronic butthole disease or whatever they got going on. Autodidacticism can be valuable, but it's one thing to Google a food to see whether it's healthy. It's quite another to dismiss decades of studies on the benefits of vaccines because you've watched a couple YouTube videos. Yep. I mean, this is just again, this is one of those broader symptoms of partially social media, but also like if you have a populace, even with social media, that has access to higher education in terms of like history, or quality public schooling, or all of these things can be not avoided but mitigated by properly educating the populace. And
well, part of the problem is our school system, at least in the States. I don't know exactly how far this goes as far as like comparatively between like Michigan and Louisiana or California or whatever. But at least when I was in school, it was very much a process of learn these facts and learn these concepts, but nothing about how to learn and not really about how to fact check things for yourself, which is in the internet age. I mean, the school system is basically set up and based around a pre-internet age where it's helpful to remember things and know things offhand. But nowadays we can look up things anytime, anywhere with our phones. And what we need to do as a society is have the skills to parse through all that information and differentiate the signal from the noise. And try and figure out, okay, is this source legitimate? How do I know this source is legitimate? How do I source things in general? And I think that needs to focus of education moving forward.
I agree. We need to stop. Common Core is kind of a problem for me in this situation. It teaches people to be fact retention human computers instead of like learning to sift through the information and determine why it's true rather than if it is or isn't true. It doesn't teach critical thinking the way and so I don't know, that's why I'm a fan personally of teachers. I was just talking about this with Sarah the other day actually. Synthesizing information. So when I was teaching, I got to decide, because obviously it wasn't my class as a student teacher, but I got to decide, what their test was going to be, and so it was like, okay, I gave them the option. I was like, you can give me a a decent sized report, like a 3-page report, on one of these topics, and it was French Revolution. I think it was the Estates, Robespierre, and the Terror in general. Or you can do multiple choice stuff for the assignment. But if you choose multiple choice for the assignment, it's going to be an essay test. And if you choose the report, it's going to be a multiple choice test. And so they chose the multiple choice test because, why wouldn't you? So you could have a little bit more time. But it was important to me that, like, pick one of the topics. And if it was my class, I would have gone even further and said, pick one of these 3 topics. Or if you can convince me that you're really interested in another thing about this French Revolution in this case, talk to me about that. And you can write that paper instead. And I was only going to be like 3 pages or whatever, because high school students. But I needed it cited. I needed it, properly taken care of, and I needed an opinion at the end. And so, like, just why do you think this way? You may not care about it necessarily, but like, how does this tie into anything that's going on today? And I got people pretty engaged about it. It was pretty good for a high school class that I didn't have control over for the whole year. It was decent. And I don't know. I just think it's way more important to understand why. Like, this is why math never worked for me, and why I'm bad at math still to this day.
Because you just get told this is how it works.
Right.
Do it.
And I'm not told the mechanisms, like the why. Why is this the way it is? I want to know. I want to know the story behind it. I want to know what applications this has. I want to know why this math is important, instead of just learn it. You need it for the fucking test. Like, and I think we're I don't know. It's really, really bad to be that way.
Yeah, we need to shift to a focus on parsing information and then synthesizing your own opinions on it. Yeah. And synthesizing information from that text, whether or not it's explicit. It's a skill that is increasingly important. So,
Anyone want to smoke a joint? No.
Fat doinks?
Fat doinks? Sounds like you had a bad math teacher. My math teacher was literally a rocket scientist.
One year, I had a math teacher, the actual teacher for the class, and this was in high school.
Yeah.
And I went to like a pretty nice school relative to the area. I mean, it was fine. But like the teacher who was normally a teacher for that class was pregnant, and then she had maternity leave. So that whole semester, I had a teacher who didn't know the subject, was reading it from the book the night before to learn it, and then teaching us the next day. It was the fucking worst.
Yeah.
That was a statistics class, by the way. But
my math teacher...
No, wait, was that geometry? I don't remember. It was one of the two. That's how bad it was. I don't remember what it was. It was either shapes or statistics.
My math teacher was teaching like basic algebra, and he used to be a mathematician for Lockheed Martin, but decided to move to nowhere, Michigan, to raise a family, instead of where he was at, and like, oof. Not easy to talk down to that many people. He should have just gone to be a professor or something somewhere. He was not very good at teaching high school kids. Mitchell Casper, thank you very much for the $2. Stripped Gillette with $10 dues. What do you think will happen to the extreme alt-right base Trump has managed to cultivate if he loses in 2020? Will they lash out at everyone, go to another Republican, or just fade into obscurity? All of the above, in my opinion, would happen.
I think
you'll get some people that'll lash out. You'll get some people that'll go to another Republican, and you'll get some that just fade. But yeah, it depends on who the next Republican is.
I also think it depends on the continuing economic situation, because I feel like in more dire economic times, when people feel a little bit more hopeless about their future, they can, and I think we see this with the alt-right, veer into fasci tendencies because they're looking for easy answers, and fascists are always there with the easy answers for people like that, because that's sort of their draw. So I would hope, again, with continued more left-leaning economic policies, we could see some relief not only for people in the very real sense of, hey, I can pay my medical bills, or at the very least, like, it's taken care of in some way, shape, or form. You see fewer people so desperate that they're willing to look for simple answers. They have a little more time to calm down and try and look at the issues in a more substantive way.
It's weird that if they would just stop fucking kicking and screaming against these like really tiny socialist concessions, that they'd have better lives and not have to worry about that kind of stuff, and could maybe focus on having like better opinions. It's very strange. Placidus John Hugo is with $5 twice. Hugo's right, except it has always been the nature of capitalism. Remember the Gilded Age. Capitalism is the private ownership of the means of production, extraction of surplus value by the owning class for the purpose of capital accumulation. Okay.
I don't disagree with what you said.
Thank you. I just want my mom to have health care. I mean, I want everybody to have health care. Way more than your mom. Yep. Insurance is such a shitty racket, and that's the problem. Right? If I could pay, if it was $100 a month and that was the cost of healthcare, that's very different from what insurance is. I would spend $100 a month on health insurance if that was it.
We could talk about the morality of profit in one way, in any shape or form or whatever, but I feel like in healthcare, period, profit has no place.
I agree.
Like, at all.
I agree.
People should get paid for their work, like doctors, obviously, in the same way that, like, you know, people who work at nonprofits get paid. It's just that there isn't some asshole at the top siphoning a bunch of stuff off and getting the prices jacked up for their own benefit.
In fact, I wouldn't hate if some of the money toward healthcare went towards like hiring more nurses and stuff, so that we don't have to work them so goddamn much. Because a lot of them, and I, you know that, I guess we both know, but they're closer to me, is some of those groups of friends are in the healthcare service, and they work their asses off. Like, they're working 60-hour weeks, and they don't need to make ends meet. They just have to, because they're so short-staffed. With better education and the budget to like a national federalized budget to be able to hire more people, I think that'd be really great. Ghost Reaper with $2. Love the channel, guys. When's the next movie review? I don't know. We're going to do we're doing one soon, right? We're doing the
it's going to involve a large blue book.
Isn't that the last one?
Yeah, I think so. It might be the second to last one, but if not, it is the last one.
Yeah. Lobbying is bad. Like, I don't know. The next Bible reading is going to happen soon as well. We also have the Ben Shapiro thing we wanted to do, so yeah, all that's going to be coming up soon. Again, we were both just sick for like 3 weeks. It was rough. Anything else on healthcare and measles?
Nah, I'm good.
Guys, do you know what time it is? Does anyone know what time it is?
I think I know what time it is.
It's motherfucking Hugo time, okay? It's motherfucking Hugo time. Elon Musk says self-driving tech could mean consumers will have a limited time to buy Teslas at current prices.
I find this so obnoxious. Okay, here's the thing. I talk about Tesla a lot. If you want to check out, I did a whole live stream, which I'm going to be doing more of, but I did a whole live stream on Twitch at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Hugo Reloaded, where I looked at the most recent Tesla investor shareholder meeting. Very cringeworthy. Go check that out. But I talk about Tesla a lot, mostly because I feel like it's emblematic of many of the problems inherent within modern capitalism.
Yeah.
That is to say, they have a fairly poor business structure, a lack of concern for the well-being of their employees. They have a sort of idealized frontman personified as in Elon Musk. They lie a lot to their shareholders. It's a whole mess. But anyway, what happened most recently with Elon Musk is he's been touting that by 2020 they're going to be involved in self-driving technology, that by 2020, by the second quarter of 2020, that they are going to have level 5 self-driving cars, which is to say a car without a steering wheel that drives itself.
Wait,
this
it
is bullshit.
It doesn't have a steering wheel even? For manual
The plan...
override?
He said by second quarter 2020 they're going to have one without a steering wheel, pending regulatory approval. He throws around pending regulatory approval a lot if you ever listen to him talk about anything, because it's always his excuse when things don't get done on his timetable. So anyway, Elon Musk has been talking up the self-driving, full self-drive stuff often, and his big talking point has been these cars are going to appreciate in value once full self-drive comes out. Now, let me explain to you how stupid that is.
Well, first, the Caligula Salad with $2 can't have a Hugo stream without Elon. And then second, the exact words in his tweet were, to be clear, consumers will still be able to buy a Tesla, but the clearing price will rise significantly as a fully autonomous car that can function as a robo-taxi is several times more valuable than a non-autonomous car.
Yeah. He's claiming that Teslas will be an appreciating value. No car in the history of cars on its own has been an appreciating value unless it's taken care of and is like a show car. Like, you know,
the
people have car shows.
The DeLorean
probably stuff like that.
But I mean, like, yeah, it's famous stuff.
Even a Ferrari, which you might enjoy a lot, does not appreciate in value. You know the saying, when you drive a car off a lot, it loses half its value if it's a new car. Because that's how it is. When people buy new cars, they want new cars. Cars depreciate very quickly because a lot of the wear and tear and just because updates and the newer models and stuff like that. So it's never going to bring an appreciating value unless the company goes under and they become collector's items. So he's claiming that they're going to not only be self-driving, but that you'll be able to send it out on its own to be basically an Uber, a Tesla-branded Uber, which they're calling robo-taxis, as Jake said in the article. And that it's going to make you $30,000 a year. So within, a year or two, if you buy a Model 3, for instance, you'll be able to make all your money back, and the car is a profit center. So based on this, he was asked last night on Twitter, hey, because as a business model, think about this. If you had the only technology on the planet that allowed you to have self-driving taxis, would you sell those to consumers at $35,000 per vehicle? Or would you just make them and have them be proprietary cars that only your company uses? Because you'd make more money that way. So Musk has been painted into this corner, essentially, where he has to say, okay, the business model we're currently under as a car manufacturer doesn't make sense if I'm telling people we're going to have these robo-taxis. So now he's saying, oh, you're not going to be able to buy them at current prices because once they're robo-taxis, we're going to have to jack the prices up to compensate for the value that they will be ostensibly creating for the owners. This way, for instance, someone like Uber can't just buy a fleet of 5,000 Teslas self-driving and make a profit on them themselves. So it's basically a stock pump, and it's a sales tactic. He's saying buy your Tesla now at the price they currently are, because once this magical technology that definitely exists, wink wink, comes out, they'll be way higher price. It's like if you went to a store and they're like, it's a going out of business sale, you better buy it now, but they've been having a going out of business sale for like 2 years, and you're starting to like think, are they really going out of business? Musk does shit like this all the time. It's blatant, and the SEC is asleep at the wheel as per usual. Pun intended.
Posadas John with $2. You know, under socialism there would be no Elon.
Well, that's it. I'm a tanky now. Good job.
Fuck. Molly Sissa with $5. Will Tesla and Elon subsequently lose its appeal once we have more like producers on the market? That's my current hope. I mean, self-driving isn't a thing anyone else is talking about because it's not really feasible.
I think they're more talking about like the Audi e-tron, for instance, which was featured in Avengers Endgame. Tony Stark has always driven Audis. They do product placement pretty often in the Iron Man movies.
I have a feeling he's not going to be driving them in the future.
No. He's not going to be driving anything in the future.
This is literally what they do in iRobot You Rent. What's that mean? Thank you, Fornalata, for $2, though. Yeah, it is very iRobot-y. Will Smith ain't having it. He's not for it.
I find the idea... They can barely work in the rain. They can't work at all in the snow. The idea of full self-drive being available next year is ridiculous. We're at least, optimistically, we are a decade away from safe level 5 full self-driving cars. Yeah. And that's being incredibly optimistic. And that's with things like LiDAR, which Teslas don't have. Because Elon Musk has already said LiDAR sucks. And once Tesla says something...
Is that laser
Elon
radar?
Elon is the mouthpiece of Elon. LiDAR, which is like Waymo, which is Google's self-driving car company.
Okay.
It's essentially... How do I put this? It's like a 3D radar. It can map out what's in front and behind of the car. You've seen the self-driving cars with a big thing on top, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Did you lose me? Oh, God, Hugo lost me!
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. Yes is the answer.
Okay. Yes, you've seen the things with the car. That's a LiDAR. It's basically spinning around, and it maps the environment in 3D, which is very helpful if you're a car and you need to figure out how to drive around an area because you don't have the ability of a human driver to infer certain things about the environment. You know what I mean? Right. Teslas don't have that. So they're relying on binocular cameras, much like the human eye, to then put the images together into a 3D image, which they showed at their Tesla investor autonomous driving day. But like that's not enough to figure out everything all the time. It's just not, and that's also computing power making this estimated 3D model that could be used elsewhere, but instead they're using it for that because they don't have LiDAR.
It's LiDAR.
LiDAR.
I
apologize.
Light detection and ranging is a remote sensing method that uses light in the form of a pulse laser to measure ranges, variable distances to the Earth. That's interesting. I feel like that's way better than binocular vision. There's a reason.
Humans function relatively well with binocular vision because we have the ability to infer many things. You know, we have a pretty generalized intelligence, whereas an AI program developed to drive a car is very specialized, and it can't make as many fringe case calls as we can. You know what I mean? Like a ball bounces out into the street or whatever, and a kid chases it.
So
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say what I'm worried about in the cases of self-driving. Besides the obvious, like slick ice or something, or stuff that would otherwise be something that would require human interaction, like maybe outside of the range of the LiDAR, you see
LiDAR.
You see a a threat to your safety, and it's coming at you. Like maybe a car, quarter mile down the road on the other side that's listing into the lane and it can't see that far. and then it has to react late to something that a human would have reacted early to. But beyond that, in reaction situations and just mitigating problems, hacking seems to be a thing that I'm worried about when I think about these types of things. I could definitely see terrorism in regards to this type of thing.
Sure, but cars nowadays, new cars at least, are so computer controlled. Theoretically, that could be a thing people could hack anyway. I don't see that as that's far from my primary concern. I just don't think the system works. Interestingly, in the chat, someone says they're a robotics engineer. I'd be curious what your thoughts are on the viability of potential self-driving in the future. Andromeda Tevens. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but I'm curious what someone in the field thinks, because I read a lot about this because I'm pretty obsessive about Tesla, and I will be until Elon Musk is gone from the company or they go bankrupt, whichever comes first. I read a lot, but obviously I don't have the degree or expertise, so I don't know.
Who gives a crap about self-driving cars when half the world is starving? Capitalism.
You can care about multiple things at once.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad argument that a lot of people make about a lot of things.
But also the answer is capitalism. Overpopulation is a big issue people don't talk... I don't think we're... See, overpopulation I don't think is a thing right now. I think lack of efficiency in regards to food and fresh water is more of a concern than population. And sure, population would address that, but in an inverse way, right?
We also see in industrialized nations, birth rate goes down as quality of life increases. So, for instance, the U.S. is, I think, below.
We are below carrying capacity, but immigration
not carrying capacity, replacement level or something like that.
But yeah, you're
carrying capacity is the maximum amount of people or animals who can live in a certain area, with the resources available.
But yeah, it's immigration keeps us above water there.
Yeah, they say Andromeda Tevens. I'd say 10 years, probably a good optimistic prediction. Yeah, that's about what I've heard. About 10 years.
Self-driving cars can help us feed the hungry if you use them right. I mean, not really. Only in delivery, but I mean, like, it only takes one person to drive a car now, and you know what I mean. We'll probably see a lot of partially self-driving cars. Is that what you were gonna say?
Yeah. For instance, GM I think has theirs is called like Super Cruise, and Teslas currently have not full self-drive, but they call it autopilot. I wish they wouldn't call it autopilot, which is essentially a lane assist and acceleration assist, so it keeps pace with the cars in front and behind you, and it can change lanes and stuff. But that even has issues, and people have gotten into accidents that are questionable whether or not it's the fault of full self-drive. So,
yeah, but Muslims are having as many kids as they can, and Pew Research says that Islam will pass Christian. I mean, that doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Like, that's irrelevant. They also live in deserts, and the climate is going poor, so I don't know if that's going to keep going. Hugo's hair looks nice at this length, by the way. Thank you, Chris Banks. Or not. Fuck off, then, says Hugo.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Rather than people telling me to get a haircut, I appreciate it.
There you go.
I just feel greasy right now. So,
how greasy are you? What could we fry with your grease?
Mozzarella sticks.
Ooh, I might eat some Hugo hair mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, good example. They say autonomous vehicles will probably be really useful in other situations sooner, like warehouses. Yeah, absolutely. For industrial use.
Oh yeah.
I fully understand. I've even seen footage of certain warehouses where they use sort of these robo forklifts and stuff, and they go around and they get stuff. I know Amazon's also trying to figure out a way to implement them in their warehouses so the shelves move on these robotic things. So instead of pickers going to the shelves kind of come to the pickers.
I know a person who works at Amazon as a picker, and hasn't worked there for long. maybe a few months at this point. But said it's rare when he works a day and he doesn't see one of the other workers crying.
Oh,
Yeah,
that fucking sucks.
Sounds fucking...
There's another problem. People like Jeff Bezos being one of the richest people on the planet while having employees who are barely getting by. It's disgusting.
And treated like shit. And on top of that, and the reason is because they have to worry about efficiency so much or they get fired, right? Which is another example of using their job as a fucking cudgel. But obviously Amazon is moving towards replacing those fucking workers anyway, so it's really just a means to an end. I love Amazon as a service, as a business. It's fucking disgusting, and it's hard to you know, it's hard to balance the two because it's so good for a consumer. Poseidus John, Comrade Hugo, when the revolution comes, you can personally put Elon in the gulags or put him to the wall if you prefer.
I don't know, man. Elon, you know why else Elon annoys me? Like on Twitter before, he refuses to let like his employees unionize, and he doesn't, he's a very staunch capitalist in that he tries to get as much out of his workforce as possible for the least in return. And once on Twitter, he was like, I'm a socialist. No, Elon, you're not. I think by socialist, he means I'm helping society, but that's not what the word means at all. So, fuck off, Elon. Anyway.
Okay, so, last call for super chat questions. Ask your questions via the super chat. And we will discuss those for a little bit longer. We've almost been here for 2 hours. So we are almost done.
Yeah.
But Elon is so cool. Space. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that shit, too. Again, this comes down to a problem I have with kind of the modern capitalist system. People say, but Elon Musk funds SpaceX, so it's so cool. Elon Musk is not an engineer. He's never engineered a single fucking rocket part. The people who work for SpaceX do, and their work is commendable, and I respect those people for doing their jobs well. But Elon Musk is just an asshole whose parents owned an emerald mine, so he was rich enough to get these people to come and work for him. It's not commendable that he's making a profit off the backs of these other people. It just isn't. You can feel neutral about that. I'm not asking you to be angry. I'm just asking you to recognize he's not a paragon of virtue for trying to make money and try and look like fucking Iron Man.
Okay, but have you considered Hyperloop? Probably not.
I think Tesla even sell. I think they sold their Hyperloop to Richard Branson. Something like that.
Know. He's dumb for buying it.
Yep.
What about SpaceX?
I don't know as much. I look far more into Tesla than SpaceX, and SpaceX is a private company as opposed to Tesla, which is public. So their financial situation is much more shrouded and in secret. So I don't really have an opinion. I don't know. I know they've done some capital raises the past year or so that haven't gone very well for them. I don't know what their internal financial situation is, but I'm generally in favor of space exploration research and anything involving that. But what annoys me is that there are SpaceX fans who will like badmouth and try and shit talk other companies trying to do rocket stuff because they're such big fans of Elon and SpaceX. So they're like, what's even the point of anyone else trying? Like, guys, calm down. The more people working on this, the better. You know, dumb.
Yeah. So I think public transportation should be a focus instead of individual transportation as far as like where the investment needs to go. Like I think it'd be much better to have, you know, a bunch of people share transportation via busing or rail or whatever, rather than every single person just being in a car. It doesn't seem to make a lot of logistical sense for everybody to be driving around. It's very
This is
strange.
a good question. I like this one. Hey, Hugo, Wikipedia thinks Elon is an engineer. Do you know why they label him as an engineer? Because he is a man-child who decided to give himself the title of head engineer. He has no degrees in engineering. It's just a title he gave himself for the companies he works at. He doesn't engineer anything. He just gives himself the title because he wants people to think of him as Iron Man.
Do you ever feel morally hypocritical for buying things like Amazon Prime, knowing it supports Bezos' unethical business practices? I don't think there's a way to be ethically a consumer at all. Like, I don't know that you can be actually ethical.
It's nearly impossible to be ethical under this form of global capitalism because so much of the goods and services we rely on depend upon what is effectively slave labor in third world countries and wage slavery here in the United States.
Yeah,
it's fucked. It's fucked up. Have you ever seen The Good Place? They address this a little bit. That essentially in the modern world, like buying a piece of fruit could contribute to, slavery somewhere in the world, so the actual moral implications of your actions become impossible to track. It's a difficult question. It is. And I struggle with it. I do. I try and make ethical choices where possible, but
yeah, I mean like if I buy vegan stuff with Amazon Prime, am I being ethical? You know what I mean?
Right. Things are so complicated. I think we all do our best, but there are inherent flaws within the system we live within. So
if I buy like nutritional yeast, the plastic bag it comes in destroys the earth. Like I don't know. Like there's somewhere down the line. I genuinely don't think you can get to a point where it's ethical. And frankly, I don't think you can do this in any economic system where you have 100% ethics behind anything. You could just get a little bit better ethics. Poseidus John, 5 more dollar dues. Thank you so much for your support today, bud. Using Amazon and recognizing the exploitations of the worker is valid since there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
I was trying to say that in a roundabout way without saying the meme, basically.
There's no ethical I mean, there's probably... I mean, there's probably things we're not thinking of, but I think in any economic situation, I can't think of ethical consumption. You know what I mean? Like something hurts something somewhere, no matter what.
Yeah.
And we just have to kind of understand that and try to reduce that. The cartel is in the avocado game, so there's that too. Well, they should be. Turn them into a bunch of farmers, and there you go. I just don't use Amazon. You're living in the past. Gotta use Amazon. Amazon's actually again, as a consumer, Amazon is a great service. I agree with the consumption thing, but it always seems like asking for perfection or nothing when the time. I agree. That's why I'm saying I don't think you can have a system that doesn't have exploitation or harm somewhere down the line when buying anything. Piggy Pie with maybe Australian dollars. Why do baby boomers think smoking is bad because all the doctors tell them so, but they think the scientists are lying together about climate change?
Well, they didn't agree for a long time because the cigarette industry and the tobacco industry in general helped do similar things to what the oil industry does today. Prop up false talking points and pay for biased studies in their favor. It's fucked up. I don't know.
Poseidus John again with $2, which is why we need to get past capitalism. I mean, again, I don't think just because it's no longer exploiting labor, it doesn't mean it's not ethical, right? So, or it doesn't mean it's ethical. I think it takes some of the ethics questions out of it, but I don't think you can have something purely ethical, right? So, I mean, if you buy bacon in a socialist situation, the pig still died, right? So, I mean, even if you're a vegan, somewhere down the line, it fucked somebody for sure. There's just, especially in this global economy that we all have, there's just no way. If you like chocolate, you're, even if it's ethical chocolate, I mean, if you buy ethical chocolate instead of exploitative chocolate, doesn't that just mean that there's less money going to those people that are exploited anyway? In that, so I don't even know. I don't know if you. I genuinely don't know because of how big the global system is that you can actually make an entirely 100% positive ethical choice. You could just reduce.
I also don't think ethics are.
You can reduce the negative ethics.
I also don't think ethics are just a hard set series of rules. It's something we all have different opinions on. So
sure,
ethics and morality in general, it's tough. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, they're not avocado farmers. They're like threatening to take money from farmers. Silly.
A big reward.
Centrist Twitter been rather uppity. Why is that? Says Godkiller Type 2 with the $2 reduce. Centrist Twitter, because of Andy No. Like they're grumpy. I don't know. Centrist Twitter's always fucking grumpy about something. Debate stream when? If you're interested in debates and stuff, tomorrow on twitch.tv/actualjake, I will be debating. I also do other stuff, like I talked about Tim Pool being triggered, Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I'm going to be going on a debate stream tomorrow night. I've been on it. This will be my third appearance on it. I think it's pretty entertaining, so if you're into that, you should go to this place. Because I think you'd really enjoy it. Like, if you like this stream right now, you like this. You're definitely going to like this. So, show up, damn it. Just show up. Give a follow. It's totally free, okay? Speaking of Bezos, Amazon owns Twitch. So, yeah. Go there. I think you'll have a good time. We also play D&D. Hugo's there. If you like that. Chocolate. Did you know Nestle uses child slaves? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dog. Would you say you're a master debater? Fucking nice. Yeah, I'm going on the Big Brain podcast again. I mean, I've also been on. I don't know. I've been on with Destiny, been on with Hassan, Raj, Pokimane, stuff like that. So, I mean, like... Jake, have I missed the 24-hour stream? No, it's going to happen week after next, I think. Or next week. Do you guys consider yourselves a part of BreadTube?
We don't primarily talk about economic
really.
issues, so I'd say no.
I'd say we definitely side with them. And if any BreadTubers want to read a chick tract or anything, I think we like all of them. Yeah. Watch Charisma Saves, you plebs. Yeah, you'll like it. There's going to be a dragon wedding. Okay?
There was also some gay shit, if you're into that.
There was some gay shit. And we know you're a fan of this show. You like gay shit. All hail God Emperor Bezos. Definitely. I agree. Hail Bezos. Anyway, 2 more minutes. At 10:30, it's over. It's fucking over. Okay? It's over, and that's it.
Bread tube adjacent. Yeah, that's probably an apt.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, that makes sense. Hello, been a huge fan for a long time. Thanks for bringing a little fucked up joy into my life. Hey, you're welcome, Helen. Is it a gay dragon wedding? It isn't, but there are going to be gay things there. In fact, Hugo,
I'm one of them.
Hugo's character is one of the gay things. So I'm just saying. Go to twitch.tv/actualjake. It's where we do our stuff, okay? And I think you're really, really going to enjoy it, okay? We love you, Jake and Hugo. The Hugo and Jake rapture. Jake, I must do your face. What? Did someone just sexually assault
aggressive.
me? Posted as John, $2. Still waiting for a Vosh chit chat. I've been on Vosh twice. He got banned off, or 3 times. He got banned off Twitch, so we can't do anything together on Twitch.
He's on YouTube again, though. He got banned briefly when we did at the same time for the debate live stream, but YouTube undid all that, which is a shocking turn of events that they did something right.
Definitely. It is corn tube. We are corn tube. Fuck wheat. Corn tube. There's a gay unicorn on Canadian TV. Oh, nice. Are you guys not doing the Quran Reloaded anymore? It keeps getting fucking bludgeoned to death. I don't know what to do. We could make that a Patreon exclusive.
Nah, I think we just need to do it at some point.
Yeah, but it's
honestly, I think we need to
free.
change up the format though, because the Quran, more so than the Bible, is so repetitive. Maybe do sort of a Jordan Peterson reading-esque thing where we just highlight like the pertinent bits.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, we're cornbread tube. That makes sense. I'm fine with that. Cornbread tube. Would you be willing to read Chick Track with Big Joel? Of course. I like Big Joel. Are you familiar with Big Joel?
Yeah.
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 We like Joel, and we like him big. I'll be reaching out to some of those people soon. We still got to do that with Hassan. Hassan said he wanted to come on. So,
Okay.
So we'll hang out with Hassan and do that. But
Sure.
anyway, thanks for hanging out. Tomorrow, what are we recording? I am leaving Friday, I believe. So, yeah, I'm leaving Friday. It was our anniversary last week, but we're going on vacation on the 12th through the 15th. So next week, if we do a live stream, it'll be on the Tuesday and not the Monday, most likely. Unless I'm home. I could be home by then. But we'll probably just record 2 things tomorrow, because Wednesday I need to prep, and then Thursday is Christmas Saves.
Okay. Did we say what day is Charisma Saves?
Thursday, right?
Did you say Thursday?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Just you
Yes.
cut out, so I couldn't hear you.
Yes, it's Thursday.
Okay, cool. Just check.
Is it gay to touch breadsticks? No. Are you going to Disney?
Not if the rolls don't touch.
No. Hmm.
That's a good joke.
A big reward.
Congratulations on Hugo for coming out. Congrats.
All right.
I don't know. That's a weird. Congrats is a weird thing to say.
I feel like
Isn't
it's
it-
also 2019 current year argument.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Who cares?
Yeah, it's not a big
Suck
deal.
suck some dicks or don't. That's life.
People like it though. People like gay shit.
Yeah.
It's very
Sure.
marketable. You should honestly
I'd be more
gay
if
up
I was
a bit. Can you gay up a bit?
I need to tone down a lot. We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. So, thanks everybody. Wait, what is Christmas Saves? Christmas Saves is not a thing. Just go to there, press follow. You'll find out on Thursday. I promise. If you don't follow that Twitch channel, I'm unsubscribing from your YouTube channel. We've discussed this last week. It's gonna happen. So go there, follow. It's totally free, and you'll just get You'll get a notification when we go live, and it'll be fun. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some more recording this week. We're gonna be back on more of a regular schedule with even better content pretty soon. Right after I get back from vacation, we're gonna hit it hard, and I mean it's just gonna go. It's just gonna go. We're going in raw. Who is Elon Musk? Jack Torborg, uninstall Fortnite and join the world. All right.
Elon Musk is not an engineer, is what he is.
He is not. Anyway, I love you all. Have a wonderful evening.
See you guys later.